Hello, teachers. How are you today? Are you good? Did you see the videos for English book? If you have not watched it, please watch it. And did you understand them? If you did not understand clearly, then see it again and again. As long as it is not making sense, please keep watching it. And of course, you should take help from the person who knows better than you. So please make communication with other teachers in the camp. Okay? Try to discuss in your Rohingya tongue. Alright, today I'm going to give you a complete instructions on how you should teach the science book. Did you all get the science books? It seems pretty much harder at the very first glance, right? But believe me, it's not going to be hard. Not for you and not even for your students. The main objective of the science book is to help the student know how a thing works, about the basic scientific facts. For example, why the sun is going down and rising. That's the basic science and they should know it. They don't need to memorize all of it. But remember, you need to make sure they understand. They have the basic knowledge of everything we are discussing here in this book. I am going to give you a more clarified explanation. Okay? I'm going to give you how you should teach chapters by chapters. So, why we're discussing about it anymore? Let's just get into the book. Okay? Now, the very first chapter, it's saying the life cycle of animals and plants. Okay? Now, here, the main objectives of this chapter is to help the student know how the life cycle of a particular thing goes on. For example, how we are born and how we grow up and how do we die. Now, this process is going on and on and on. That's why we humans are living on the earth for a long time. And whatever things that we see around us, for example, the cows, the fishes, even the trees, they all have a life cycle, isn't it? Now, your task is to help the student to understand that everything is following a life cycle, all the living things. Now, here we have discussed about the life cycles of human and a butterfly and then some other things. You just need to tell them as a story. Just tell them first this happens, after that this happens, and after that this happens. This is how our life goes on and on. I will give you explanatory, clear and precise videos for each of these chapters. And make sure you don't teach these chapters in a day. It should take a long time. You should teach the student only one life cycle on every classes. That means in each class you just discuss about one life cycle. Then ask the student do the activities we give you on the videos. Okay? Don't make it hard. make it slow. If you want to teach all these things in a day, this is going to be too much. Okay, so go through one and one topic only. In the chapter 2, you will see the state of matters. Now, before discussing about the state of matters, you should help the student to learn what are matters, right? So talk about matters. And don't forget to teach all these things in your native language. That means in the Rohingya language as well. Ask them to read it in English. Also, you explain it in your Rohingya language so that they understand, they grow a complete idea about these things that you are telling them. They will be curious to know more if you can explain these things perfectly. Okay? Now, in the state of matters chapter, that means chapter 2, it is talking about the different state of things. For example, water or the liquids and the gases and the solids. So you give them examples, tell them these are solids, show them these are liquids, and show them these are gases. Tell them all these things. The main objective of this chapter is to make sure that the students know there are different type of matters, and these matters can stay in different stages. For example, the iron, we can make it liquid by using heat, or the liquid, we can make it solid by freezing it. This is the idea they should get after reading this chapter. I'm going to give you short videos, one classes, and you just follow. Each classes should not take more than 1 hour. You take one topic only for a day and teach it. Don't try to teach all the chapters in a day. You should at least take 4 to 5 classes to teach one chapter. And I would say you should take more than that if the students need it. Okay, now go to chapter 3. In chapter 3, there is the solar system. It's about all the sun, moon, and about our earth. It's about the outside of the earth. It's about our galaxy. So the main objective is to make sure the students know the name of the planets that we have around us. And they also should know that all these planets are rounding the sun. This is what called the solar system. And then they will learn a bit about different planets. You tell about these planets just like a story. Give them information. Talk about one planet or two planets in a single class. Don't talk about all the planets in a day. You just talk about one or two planets in a class. And give them detailed idea. Discuss about it as much as you can. Speak in your native tongue. Speak in the Rohingya language. Translate it. Then ask them to go through it. I'm going to give you a detailed class in video lessons. Follow those videos, please. And make sure you watch them at least 4 or 5 times. In chapter 4, you can see there are descriptions of different animals. Well, the students should know different animals, at least the name of different animals. But here in this chapter you will discuss about the life or the characteristics of some animals. There are long sentences in these chapters about these animals, yes, and you are afraid of it. Don't be. You know what these sentences are saying, are you not? Yes. So you read them, you understand them, and then you help the student to understand it. You speak in your Rohingya language. Do not teach these things in English. First you explain it in Rohingya language, then you ask them to read it in English. Then they should point out some words, or they don't know some words, you'll find that. Try to help them understand the meaning of those words. Okay, there will be details videos for these classes, and of course you teach only one animals or two animals in each classes. Don't haste it. You need to take time to teach this book. The science book you should take time. For example, in a class you just talk about alligators. You can talk about like this. This is the alligator. Okay, look at this. Alligators are a species of reptile. While they resemble crocodiles, they are very different animals. Now you know the meaning. You speak in your native tongue. Alligator হলো গিয়ে এক ধরনের কুমিরের মতন প্রজাতি, বাট এরা কিন্তু কুমির না, এরা কুমিরের থেকে আলাদা একটা প্রজাতি। তোমরা কি সবাই অ্যালিগেটর দেখছো? Have you seen alligators? Now you do take classes like this. Speak in your Rohingya language. Tell the students what are written here. Then you help them make or help them translating these English versions. First you tell them in your native tongue, then you go through the translated versions. I'm going to give you a details video. Follow that video please. In chapter 5 it is talking about light and shadows. You will show these things practically. The students will learn the use of light and use of shadows. There are different topics about light and shadows, and you will show these things practically to the students. I am going to give you videos about it. Follow those videos. Basically what I'm going to do, let me just tell you here. Look, the sources of light. Now what are the sources? Now student must understand source means. What does the source mean? Source mean how do we get it, right? So you tell them in your native tongue. Source is the place from which we get something. Now source of light means it's the place or it's the thing from which we get the light. Now here look, the sun, the candle, light, these are the things, these are the sources from which we get light. You can ask them in your tongue, how do you get light? They will be able to even give you those answers. Then you just ask them formally. Tell them in your native tongue. Then you ask them to read in English. This is it. The next one and the next one and the next one. I will give you details video. The next one is chapter 6. It is talking about nature and environment. Nature is nature. What is nature? You need to help the student understand it. And what is environment, the student should understand that too. And it is also discussing how the environment get polluted and how you can avoid polluting the environment, how we can make our environment better, and how environment is important to us. This chapter is talking about all these things. If you discuss these things one by one in your Rohingya language and then you ask them to go through the English version, it should be pretty easier for the student. So just do that. You read these things first. You realize it. You understand it. Then you translate it in your own language. Then you teach it to the students. Don't try to teach these things in English. This is going to be hard for the students, and perhaps it would be hard for you as well. Don't do it. Only English is the subject that you may teach it in complete English. Rest of the subject you can use your Rohingya tongue. Okay, so this is your job. In the chapter 7, it is talking about types of energy. Now, the objective of this chapter is to make sure that students know the name of different type of energy. Now, before that, they should know what is energy, right? So help them understand what is energy, and then you talk about different type of energy like this. We have given some energy like the kinetic energy, then the electricity, and then the mechanical energy, and then sound energy. There are other energies. So you talk about each energy in one class. Don't talk about much things together. It is going to be hard for them. And if you just talk about it, they will not understand it. You need to show it. You need to create practical experience for them. And how you can create those experiences, I will show you. I'm going to give you videos for that. Follow those videos. Chapter 8. It's the continent of the world. This chapter is talking about all the continents of the world. That means after reading this chapter, the student should know about the whole world. The world has many countries like the Bangladesh, like the other countries, India, America. They have got continents, Europe. So they will know that this world is not just the country or the place they are living. It is far bigger than that. This is what you should help them understand, and just make sure they knows the basic names of this continent and some countries' name that are important. You read this context first, then you translate it, and then you prepare your mind what are the information that you're going to give to your students. They should go through those informations that you are giving them. And the questions for the examination will be similar. We will be discussing this in more detail in the videos. In the chapter 9, you will see there are some description about some famous people. Most of them are the famous political people. Now, they just need to know the names of this person and the very basic information, when he born and where he was born. Rest of the information are just for their knowledge. Some of them will be able to remember it, some of them will not be able to remember it. But your task is to explain it in your language. Let me just go through the very first one. The first one is Benjamin Franklin. So who was Benjamin Franklin? You tell them. So this guy name was Benjamin Franklin. He born in Boston. Boston is in America. So Benjamin Franklin ছিল একজন রাজনীতিবিদ। সে জন্মগ্রহণ করেছিল বস্টনে। You speak it in your native tongue like this. Did you understand it? Don't ask the student to memorize all these things, but still you discuss only one or two people in a class. The last chapter is chapter 10. It is talking about different types of landforms. Now, what is landforms? There are many types of landform. There are plain lands, there are hills, there are coastal land, and so many other types of lands. Now, you might have not seen all of them, but they still exist in the world. The main objective of this chapter is to make sure that the student know which one is hill, which one is coastal land, and which one is desert. Once they understand these things, it will be pretty much easier for them. They will be able to understand how the whole earth looks like. You go through only one types of land or two types of land for each classes. It should be easier for the student to learn them. And we have plenty of examples of all these landforms which I am going to give you in videos. And if you want to show it to the student, you can show those videos to students as well if it is possible for you. But of course, speak in your native tongue. Speak in the Rohingya language. It would be easier for the students to understand. You translate the book, you watch my videos, you understand that, and then deliver the class in your native tongue in the Rohingya language. This is pretty simple for the science book. So don't forget to watch the videos. Watch all the videos that are being uploaded for you at least 5 times. Why 5 times? Because if you watch 5 times, you will understand. And if you have any questions, you ask me or ask the person who is monitoring you, who is giving you instructions. Okay? Till then, bye-bye.